said you were going to use those toys to talk about God and suffering.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Is your question about suffering intellectual or emotional?
You mean suffering as a concept versus a personal objection? Both, but let's start with the intellectual.
Well, let me summarize the problem by quoting Epicurus, a philosopher from ancient Greece. Is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is
Jill,
not...
when I said intellectual...
Oh, right. How about this? If God is all-powerful and all-loving, why is there suffering?
Yeah, evil stuff happens, so either God's too weak to stop it or he doesn't want to. Can't be both, can he?
Now for the toys. Back when humans believed in a pantheon of gods, the origin of evil wasn't as much of a problem. That Loki is such a trickster. Look what he did to my leg. Well, tell me about it. Thor got angry last week and I barely survived the storm.
Sure, I get that. Bad gods do bad things and humans suffer.
Right. It's trickier with monotheism though.
So that's why Christianity is Satan, to balance God out?
The Bible calls Satan the father of lies, and that his mission is to steal, kill, and destroy. But the Bible also says that God's more powerful.
That doesn't solve anything then. Well, why doesn't God just wipe him out?
Well, let me ask you this. Would taking out the devil eliminate all evil?
I guess humans don't need much encouragement to do bad things to each other.
Let's use the toys to picture a world in which God removes the capacity for evil from humans. Whoa, it's beautiful. I want it. And you can have it then. Don't you want it too? I cannot lie. I do want it. But I want you to have it more. Hang on. Is that because you have to let me have it, or because you want me to have it?
I think I get what you're saying. Without the potential for choosing bad, there's no meaningful choice for good either.
Remove free will and we're robots.
Nice robots.
Yeah, but would you rather a hug that's programmed or one that's freely given?
Huh? Did the script say for you to give me a hug?
Maybe. Not as good if it's forced, is it?
Why not put up a force field?
What do you mean?
This one's angry and lashes out, but bing! God stops it from connecting.
So we can do evil to each other, but God removes the effect of that evil.
Look, I guess I'm saying that if God really cared, he would intervene more than he does.
Like stopping me from annoying you earlier?
Or how you're annoying me now. I mean, for big things, like child abuse, or the Holocaust, or my friend's terminal cancer.
Sorry, Bob. I can see we're getting to the emotional part of the question. And I'm sorry about your friend.
I still want to hear God's response.
Well, one thing we can say about the Christian God, he's not indifferent to suffering.
What proof do you have?
Jesus. Jesus left the comforts of heaven and came down to suffer alongside us. Jesus' cousin John was murdered. Jesus was mocked by his family, abandoned and betrayed by his closest friends. He knows what it's like to be hungry, tired, sad, frustrated, and he was beaten and killed despite being innocent.
What kind of God would design a universe in which he suffers too?
Mind-boggling, isn't it? I find it comforting that God knows what I'm going through. He's been through something similar, or worse.
Okay, I guess but that doesn't explain why there's suffering in the first place.
Maybe not, but it's a tricky question for any worldview.
What do you mean?
Well, let's take atheism. If there's no God, then in a way, the problem of evil doesn't exist.
How so?
Without a higher power to say what's right and wrong.
Then there's no evil, no good. Suffering is just a fact of life.
The strong overpower the weak, but there's no basis for finding that offensive.
But some things are self-evident, like murder or stealing.
Well, there's something in each one of us that reacts to injustice. Where does that feeling come from?
Okay, I'm not convinced. but you've given me something to think about.
There's no easy answer. And if this video has raised questions, join our Discord. The link is in the description alongside links for mental health services. About your friend, is there any way I can help?
You can come visit him with me if you like.
Does he like to play with toys?